Listen to me right now. You might not see it, but inside of you is a potential that is far greater than what you can even imagine. You may be standing in the middle of your circumstances, looking around at everything you've accomplished, or more likely everything you haven't. And it feels like you're just not where you need to be. It feels like the things you dream of are just too far away, too out of reach. But I need you to hear this. Your potential is already inside of you. It might be hidden beneath layers of doubt, fear, and insecurity, but it's real. And if you will believe it, it will start to reveal itself. When I say your potential is unseen, I don't mean it's not there. I mean it's just not fully visible to you yet. And that's okay. Not everything great in your life needs to be visible right now for you to step into it. God has placed inside of you everything you need to accomplish what He's called you to do. It's not out there somewhere waiting for you to discover it. It's already within you, planted deep inside. Think about it. Seeds don't look like trees. A seed doesn't look like the mighty oak or the fruit-bearing apple tree it will become. It looks small. It looks ordinary. But the potential to grow into something strong and fruitful is already packed inside of it. The difference is that the seed must be planted, watered, and given time. It must endure seasons of being hidden beneath the soil, unseen by the world, before it can break through and reveal what's been inside all along. Just like that seed, you have untapped potential. You have greatness inside of you that hasn't yet been fully activated. And the truth is, most of us don't see that potential because we're waiting for it to be confirmed by someone else, or we're looking for it in the wrong places. We look for signs in our bank accounts, our job titles, or the opinions of others to validate us. But the truth is, those things are temporary. Your potential is eternal. It comes from a deeper place. It comes from the Creator who formed you with purpose and vision before you were ever born. Your potential is rooted in that purpose. The biggest mistake you can make is thinking that your potential is tied to what you've already achieved or to what you see around you today. I want you to get this. Your potential is not defined by your present circumstances. It's not determined by where you are right now or where you've been. Your potential is a reflection of who you are becoming. When you look at the challenges you face, the disappointments you've lived through, or even the mistakes you've made, it's easy to believe that your future is already written. But I'm telling you, your future is not written by your past mistakes. It's written by your faith in the unseen. The potential inside of you is greater than any obstacle you've faced. It's stronger than any failure. And it has the power to overcome anything that stands in your way. Look at the life of anyone who's ever done something great. They didn't start out with all the answers. They didn't have everything figured out. They had to believe in the unseen. They had to trust that what was inside them could rise up in spite of the challenges. Think about people like Nelson Mandela, Thomas Edison, or even someone closer to home, a mentor. It came from believing in the potential that others couldn't see. And because they believed, they didn't give up when the journey got hard. Now, I'm not saying it's easy. I'm not saying it won't take work. In fact, most of the time, the potential inside you will challenge you. It will require you to stretch beyond your comfort zone. It will require you to fight against your own self-doubt. But you've got to believe in what you can't see right now, because that's the starting point for everything. Your belief in your unseen potential will activate it. And when you begin to take steps forward, even small ones, that unseen potential will start to make itself known. You might not be able to see the whole picture yet, but that doesn't mean the picture isn't there. The plan is already in motion. It just hasn't fully come into focus for you. So don't get discouraged when you don't see immediate results. Keep going, keep moving, keep believing in what you cannot yet see. The breakthrough is coming. The moment when what's been hidden inside of you finally bursts into the open, that moment is closer than you think. And when that moment comes, it won't just change your life. It will change the lives of everyone around you. Your potential isn't just for you, it's for the world. You were made for more than just getting by. You were made to leave a legacy, to impact lives, and to live in the fullness of all that God has planned for you. So trust what's inside of you. Trust the unseen, because it is more real than anything you can see with your eyes today. I want you to stop for a moment and think about something. Deep down, when you close your eyes and reflect, do you feel like you're living up to your true potential? Are you truly walking in the purpose you were made for? Or do you sometimes feel like something's missing, like you were made for more than what you've settled for? I want to tell you something today that could change everything. You were made for more. More than the routine you're caught in, more than the ordinary life you've allowed yourself to live, more than just what's comfortable or familiar. God has created you with a unique purpose, and it's a purpose that goes beyond the limitations of your current reality. You were never meant to play small. You were never meant to settle. So often we convince ourselves that what we see right now, our circumstances, our struggles, our limitations, is all we can expect from life. We get comfortable in the familiar even when it's not fulfilling, but that's not God's plan for you. His plan is bigger. His vision for your life is more expansive than anything you've imagined. And it's time to stop living beneath your potential. Think about the first time you were excited about something. Maybe it was a dream, a vision, or a passion you had. Maybe it was the moment you realized you could be more, do more, achieve more. That spark, that belief that you were created for something significant was not a mistake. It wasn't some random thought. It was a glimpse of the purpose God planted inside you long before you were born. And the only thing standing between you and that purpose is the belief that you are truly made for it. So why do we settle for less? Why do we shrink back when we know deep inside we were made for more? Sometimes it's fear. Sometimes it's doubt. Sometimes we've been told by others or even ourselves that we're not good enough or that our dreams are too big. But I'm here to tell you that those voices are lies. They are distractions meant to keep you from stepping into everything you were meant to do. You were made for more than fear. Fear will always try to hold you back. It will tell you that you don't have what it takes, that you're not ready, that you don't have the resources or the connections or the experience. But here's the truth. You don't need all of that to start. You just need the courage to take the first step and believe that if God called you to it, He will equip you for it. You were made for more than complacency. Complacency is the silent killer of dreams. It's the comfortable place where we fall into routines and convince ourselves that we don't need to strive for more. But don't you see, complacency is where purpose goes to die. You were made to be a change maker, to impact the world around you, to live with intention and passion, not just get by. Your life matters, and the choices you make today will shape the future you walk into tomorrow. You were made for more than failure. I know it's hard when things don't go as planned. I know how it feels to try and fail, to reach for something and miss the mark. But hear me when I say this. Failure is not the end. Failure is part of the process. It's the road that leads you to your breakthrough. You cannot step into your purpose without learning how to get back up after falling. Failure doesn't define you, it refines you. It teaches you what doesn't work so you can discover what does. Don't let failure convince you that you're not worthy of more. It's simply part of your journey toward greatness. You were made for more than being average. I know that sounds bold, but hear me out. We live in a world that celebrates the status quo, that rewards the safe and predictable, that tells us to be content with what we have. But you were not created for mediocrity. You were made for excellence. God has equipped you with gifts, talents, and opportunities that the world needs. The world doesn't need more people who are just getting by. It needs people who are bold enough to live out their calling. It needs people who are willing to step into greatness, who are willing to rise above the average and be the best version of themselves. It's time to stop settling for less than God's best. It's time to stop making excuses and start believing that the dream you have, the vision you see for your life is within reach. You were made for more, and it's time to step into it. The world needs what you have to offer. Your family needs it. Your community needs it. Your future self needs it. I'm telling you right now, you don't need to wait for the right moment, the right opportunity, or the right circumstances. You just need to take action. You need to believe that you were made for more, and then start walking in that belief every single day. So let me ask you, are you ready to stop settling for less? Are you ready to step into the more you were created for? I believe in you, and I believe that when you start walking in that truth, the doors you've been waiting for will begin to open. It's time to stop living beneath your potential. It's time to live the life you were made for. The best is yet to come. There is a powerful principle that I want you to understand today. The words you speak have power. What you speak over your life, over your circumstances, and over your future can either build you up or tear you down. You have the ability to shape your reality with your words. In fact, the Bible tells us that the power of life and death is in the tongue. That means the words you speak are not just sounds, they carry weight, influence, and authority. It's time to take responsibility for the words you've been speaking over yourself. If you're like most people, you've proven things over your life without thinking twice. You've said things like, I'll never be able to do that. I'm just not good enough. Or that's too big for me. But I'm here to tell you that when you speak those words, you're creating a reality that aligns with your doubts, not your destiny. Your words are either propelling you forward or keeping you stuck in the same place. So today, I want you to make a decision. You're going to speak life over yourself. When I say speak life, I don't just mean saying positive things for the sake of being optimistic. I'm talking about speaking with purpose, with faith, and with the understanding that the words you speak can bring forth the promises that God has for you. When you speak life, you're declaring the truth of who you are and what you can accomplish. You're speaking over your potential, your future, and your calling. Think about it. Words are the beginning of every action. Before you do anything, you think it, and before you think it, you say it. Your thoughts and your words work together to create the life you live. When you speak negativity over your life, it creates a mindset of defeat. But when you speak words of life, you open the door for possibility, opportunity, and breakthrough. What you say matters. I want you to begin speaking life over your identity. Who you are is not determined by what other people have said about you or by the mistakes you've made in the past. Your true identity is rooted in who God says you are. He calls you loved, chosen, and worthy. He calls you capable and equipped. When you speak life over your identity, you are aligning yourself with God's truth, not the world's opinions. Too many of us go through life with a warped sense of who we are. We let the opinions of others, the labels they put on us, and the failures we've experienced define us. But God's word says you are more than a conqueror. You are not a victim. You are not a failure. You are not unworthy. You are a masterpiece created by God. And when you speak life over yourself, you begin to step into that truth. But it's not just about who you are, it's about what you can do. So many of us hold ourselves back because we listen to the lies that say we aren't capable. That dream is too big for me. I don't have the skills for that, or I'll never get there. But hear me when I say this. Your potential is far greater than the limitations you place on yourself. You were made to do incredible things. You were made to impact the world. When you speak life over your abilities, you are activating the gifts God has placed inside of you. I'm not saying you won't face challenges. You will, but when you speak life, you are preparing yourself to face those challenges with faith and confidence, not fear and doubt. You are reminding yourself that God is with you. And if He is for you, no one can stand against you. Now, I want you to start speaking life over your future. It's so easy to get discouraged by what's happening around you. Maybe things aren't where you want them to be right now. Maybe you're in a season of waiting, or maybe you feel like you've been stuck in the same place for far too long. But I want you to remember, the best is yet to come. The Bible says that God has plans for your future, plans to prosper you and not to harm you. Plans to give you a hope and a future. Your future is filled with possibilities. When you speak life over your future, you are declaring that you trust in God's plan, not the circumstances you see right now. So what does it look like to speak life over yourself? It means declaring your worth. It means speaking over your dreams, your family, your relationships, your finances, and your health with faith and confidence. It means saying, I am enough, I will succeed, I am destined for greatness, and I trust God's timing. It means breaking the chains of negativity and stepping into the fullness of who you are meant to be. And when you speak life, don't just do it once and expect everything to change overnight. It's a daily practice. Every day you need to remind yourself of who you are and what you're capable of. Every day you need to declare that you will overcome, that you will rise above, and that you will not be defeated. Your words have the power to create the life you want. Let's stop speaking words of defeat, doubt, and discouragement. Let's stop letting the enemy get a foothold in our lives by agreeing with his lies. Today, make the decision to speak life over yourself. Speak life over your future. Speak life over your dreams. Speak life over your relationships. Speak life over your health, your finances, and your mind. And watch as your life begins to align with the words you speak. Fear is a liar. Let that truth sink in. Fear is a liar, and it's been lying to you for far too long. It lies to you about who you are. It lies to you about what you can do. It lies to you about your future, your purpose, and your potential. And if you don't recognize it for what it is, it will hold you back from stepping into the life you were meant to live. We all deal with fear. It's a universal experience. But the problem is that many of us allow fear to define us. We let it dictate our choices, limit our dreams, and keep us stuck in places we don't belong. We hear the voice of fear telling us that we're not good enough, that we can't succeed, or that we're destined to fail. We hear it whispering lies about our worth, our abilities, and our future. But the truth is, fear is not the voice of truth. Fear is not speaking the truth about your potential, your calling, or your destiny. Fear is a liar. When you allow fear to control your life, it keeps you from taking risks, stepping out in faith, and going after what God has placed in your heart. It keeps you in a place of safety and comfort, but that's not where your destiny lies. Your destiny is not in the safe zone. Your purpose is not in the place where you hide from your fears. Your purpose is found when you step out in faith, trusting that the same God who called you is the one who will equip you for every challenge you face. But fear tries to convince you that it's too risky. Fear says, you can't do it, you'll fail, you're not good enough. But these are lies. Fear is a liar. I want you to understand something. Fear doesn't have the power to stop you unless you believe it. Fear doesn't have the power to prevent you from stepping into your purpose unless you allow it to. Fear may show up, but it doesn't have the authority to keep you down unless you let it. You have the power to push past fear. You have the ability to silence its lies with the truth of who you are and what you can do. Think about it for a moment. What's the worst thing fear is telling you right now? Is it telling you that you're not capable, that you're not smart enough, that you'll never make it, that your dreams are too big? What's the one thing fear is whispering to you every day that's holding you back from moving forward? Whatever that lie is, I want you to hear this loud and clear. It's a lie. It may feel true, but that doesn't make it truth. Fear thrives on your uncertainty. It feeds on your doubts, your insecurities, and your past failures. It tries to make you believe that your past mistakes are a prophecy of your future. But let me remind you of something. Your past does not define your future. Your mistakes do not define your purpose. Fear wants you to believe that your past is a weight that will keep you grounded, but in reality, your past is the very thing that will propel you forward if you allow it to teach you, strengthen you, and push you to grow. Fear will try to keep you from learning and growing by making you believe that your past is a prison. But your past is a stepping stone, not a chain. I know it's easy to get caught in the grip of fear. When you're faced with a big decision, an unknown future, or an overwhelming challenge, fear can feel like a tidal wave crashing over you. It's easy to feel small, inadequate, and incapable. But I want you to remember something. Fear is always the loudest right before your breakthrough. The closer you get to stepping into your destiny, the louder fear will scream. It will tell you that you're not ready, that you're not prepared, that you're not enough. But those are lies. Fear is a liar. The truth is, you are more than enough. God has already equipped you with everything you need to succeed. The strength, the wisdom, the gifts, and the talents are already inside of you. God has called you for this moment, and He will be with you every step of the way. So the next time fear comes knocking at your door, don't listen to its lies. Instead, stand firm in the truth of who you are and whose you are. Fear may try to lie to you, but you don't have to believe it. You don't have to let fear control your life. You don't have to let it hold you back from living the life you were created to live. You don't have to let fear steal your peace, your joy, or your purpose. Fear is a liar, and the truth will always overcome. So here's what I want you to do. The next time fear tries to tell you that you can't, that you're not enough, that you're not worthy, I want you to respond with the truth. I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. I am fearfully and wonderfully made. I am more than a conqueror. I am not defined by my mistakes or my failures. I have a purpose, and I will not let fear stop me from living it out. You were not made to live in fear. You were made to live in faith, to live in purpose, and to live in the truth of who you are. Fear is a liar, and you don't have to listen to it anymore. It's easy to look back on your life and think that your past is a reflection of who you are today. Maybe you've made mistakes. Maybe you've faced setbacks, failures, or moments of regret. Maybe you've been hurt, abandoned, or rejected. It's so easy to believe that the scars of your past are a permanent mark on your identity. But here's the truth. Your past does not define you. You see, we often make the mistake of allowing our past to control our present and dictate our future. We replay those moments over and over in our minds, and before we know it, they start to shape the way we see ourselves. We let our past mistakes, our regrets, and our failures convince us that we're unworthy of more, that we're destined to repeat the same patterns. But the enemy wants you to believe that your past is your identity, and that's a lie. Let me make something crystal clear. You are not your mistakes. You are not your failures. You are not defined by what happened yesterday or even what happened years ago. The choices you made in the past, the things you've gone through, do not have the final say on who you are or who you can become. Your past is just that, your past. It is not your future. It's not your identity. It's not your destiny. There's a reason why the rear view mirror in your car is so small compared to the windshield. The rear view mirror is just a small reflection of what's behind you, but the windshield is your focus, your future, your journey ahead. What's behind you doesn't define the direction you're going. So often we get so caught up in the rear view mirror that we lose sight of the road in front of us. We spend all of our time focusing on the things we regret, the mistakes we've made, the things we wish we could change. But the reality is that you can't change your past, but you can change your future. Your past doesn't have to dictate where you're going next. The truth is, you were created for more. You were created to move forward, to grow, and to evolve. No matter how messy your past may have been, no matter how broken or lost you might feel, God has a purpose for you. And that purpose is not tied to what's behind you. In fact, your past might be the very thing that prepares you for your future. Your struggles, your pain, your failures, all of those things can become the foundation for your breakthrough. God uses the broken pieces of our lives to create something beautiful. Your scars do not disqualify you. They testify to your strength, to your resilience, and to the fact that you are still standing. Maybe you've been walking around carrying the weight of your past, believing that you're not good enough to move forward. Maybe you've been replaying old mistakes, telling yourself that you'll never be able to break free from what happened before. But I want you to hear this loud and clear. You are not your past. You are who God says you are. And his plans for you are bigger than any mistake or failure you've experienced. Your value is not determined by what you've done. It's determined by who you are in Christ. And here's the thing. When you let go of your past, you open the door to your future. You have to stop looking backward in order to start moving forward. I know it's hard. I know it's tempting to hold on to the pain, the hurt, the disappointment. But the more you cling to those things, the more you'll miss out on what God has for you. Your future is waiting for you, and it's full of hope, possibility, and restoration. But in order to step into that future, you have to release your past. That doesn't mean ignoring your past or pretending it didn't happen. It means choosing to no longer let it control you. It means refusing to let your past mistakes define your worth. You've been given a new identity, a fresh start, and a clean slate. In Christ, you are a new creation. The old is gone and the new has come. The person you were is not the person you are becoming. Don't let your past stop you from embracing who you are today. You've learned from your mistakes. You've grown from your failures. You've been shaped by your experiences. But none of those things get to decide your future. You are not bound by what happened before. You are free to walk in the fullness of the life God has for you. And nothing from your past can hold you back unless you let it. You are still in the middle of your journey, and there's so much more ahead of you. Your past doesn't determine your future. Your future is determined by the choices you make today. The decision to forgive yourself, to release the past, and to step boldly into the future God has prepared for you. So I want to encourage you today. Don't let your past keep you from moving forward. Let go of the shame, the guilt, and the regret. Embrace the truth that you are loved, you are chosen, and you are capable of so much more. You have a purpose, and it's not tied to your past. It's tied to the future that God has in store for you. Have you ever found yourself in a place where you just didn't believe that things could get better? Maybe you've faced challenges that seemed insurmountable, or gone through seasons where it felt like nothing was going right. Maybe life has thrown obstacle after obstacle in your path, and you're starting to wonder if you'll ever see the breakthrough you've been praying for. If that's you, I want to remind you of something incredibly important today. Your belief is the key to your breakthrough. You see, belief is not just a feeling. It's not about hoping things will turn around or wishing that circumstances will change. Belief is a powerful force. It is the catalyst that activates everything you need to move forward, even when things seem impossible. Your belief is the bridge between where you are now and where you want to be. If you can shift your belief, you can shift your reality. In the Bible, we see countless examples of people who experienced breakthrough, not because they had the best circumstances or the most resources, but because they had faith. They believed that God could do what he promised, even when their situation screamed the opposite. Belief doesn't require a perfect situation. In fact, believing in the midst of struggle is often the very thing that unlocks the breakthrough. Think about the story of the woman with the issue of blood. She had suffered for 12 years and no doctor could help her. But she didn't let her condition define her, and she didn't let her circumstances determine her outcome. She believed. She believed that if she could just touch the hem of Jesus' garment, she would be healed, and when she did, her breakthrough came. Jesus didn't just heal her body, he acknowledged her faith. Her belief was the key that unlocked her miracle. Now you might be thinking, that's a great story, but what about me? My situation is different. My struggles are unique. I don't see how belief can change anything for me. But the truth is, belief doesn't depend on how big or small your problem is. What matters is your willingness to believe that change is possible. What matters is whether you have enough faith to take the first step, even when the path ahead seems unclear. Belief is what keeps you moving when everything around you is telling you to stop. It's what gives you the courage to face your fears, to confront your doubts, and to keep pressing forward when you don't see the results yet. Belief is the fuel that keeps you going when you feel like giving up. Without belief, you will remain stagnant. Without belief, you will stay stuck in your circumstances. But when you choose to believe, when you choose to trust in God's plan for your life, that's when the breakthrough begins. Let's talk about what belief really means. Belief is more than just acknowledging that something is possible. It's about internalizing the truth that something is already done in the spiritual realm. Belief means you act like it's already happening, even when you don't see the evidence yet. It's like planting a seed in the ground. You can't see the roots growing, but you trust that they are. Keep watering it, nurturing it, and believing that eventually it will break through the soil. Your belief is that seed. Your faith is what will cause it to grow. But belief isn't always easy, is it? It's so much easier to believe when everything is going right, when things are falling into place, and when you can see progress. But true belief is tested in the fire. True belief is forged in the furnace of adversity. It's easy to believe when you're on the mountaintop, but can you still believe when you're in the valley? Can you still trust God when nothing is going the way you expected? That's when your belief is truly powerful. When you can believe in the face of doubt, in the face of uncertainty, that's when your breakthrough is coming. Because belief opens the door to possibilities. Belief makes a way where there seems to be no way. Let's go back to the story of the woman with the issue of blood. When she pressed through the crowd to touch Jesus' garment, she didn't have a clear path. There were obstacles, physical barriers that stood in her way. But she believed, and that belief caused her to push past the obstacles. She didn't let her limitations define her. She didn't let fear or doubt stop her. She pressed forward because she believed. What obstacles are you facing today? What barriers are standing between you and your breakthrough? Belief is what gives you the courage to keep going. When you choose to believe, you choose to take action. You choose to push through the obstacles, to keep praying, to keep believing, and to keep trusting that God is at work, even when you can't see it. Your belief isn't just about waiting for a miracle to happen. It's about acting in faith even before the miracle shows up. Belief moves you from passivity to action. When you believe, you move differently. You speak differently. You think differently. You approach your challenges from a position of faith, not fear. Your belief is the foundation upon which your breakthrough is built. So, what would it look like for you to believe today? What would it look like for you to trust that your breakthrough is already on the way? It would mean letting go of the doubt, the fear, and the negativity. It would mean choosing to believe that God is faithful, that his promises are true, and that he is working all things together for your good. Your belief is your breakthrough. The moment you choose to believe, the moment you decide to have faith is the moment you activate the power to move forward, overcome obstacles, and receive everything that God has prepared for you.